Well, hello there, folks, and a very warm welcome as usual. Back to What's for Tea and our meals of the week for this week, and I hope that I find you very well indeed and you've all had a good week. So, yeah, thanks for coming over just to check out what I made. And as usual, I'll start all the way back on Monday through till today, which is Sunday. And if I've done a video on anything that you see here, I will always leave it linked down below. So, on Monday, we were actually out. We went to a wee local Italian place who up till 6:30, they do a 2-course menu for £18.95, which is really good value. You're basically getting a course free. You know, you can have a starter and a main, or a main and a dessert. I always go, or normally always go, for a starter and a main. Mr. Watts for Tea's the other way around. He prefers the main and the dessert. I'm more of a savoury person, so I'll just show you what we had. So yeah, this is just a quick wee look at the menu for those that like to see the menu. So the soup of the day this day was minestrone, and it's obviously an Italian classic. I'm not sure how homemade this was. It tasted a bit canned to me, but it was still very nice. And then Mr. Watts for Tea, like I said, he didn't have a starter. So for his main, he had fish and chips. And then I had a burger, not very Italian, but I've tried most of the stuff on the menu, but I've never tried their burger. So I decided just to have a plain burger, no cheese or anything. But that patty was delicious. You know, they are 100% beef, or nearly 100% beef, so they are delicious. And then Mr. Watts for Tea's dessert, he decided to have the chocolate fudge cake, which also came with cream and also ice cream and a wee wafer log on the side. And then moving on to Tuesday, we were actually away to a friend's Airbnb, so I didn't have my usual setup. This is just in the town next to us, actually. You know, it's not far at all, but it's just nice to get a wee change of scenery. I think it's in a place called Ayr, and it's about 15 minutes from where we are. So yes, something completely different to what we would normally have. So it's a hot dog with ketchup, or is it barbecue sauce? No, this is ketchup. And then some creamy coleslaw on the side, and then just a few battered onion rings as well. It was quite a warm night, and I couldn't be bothered really standing and cooking anything. I feel a bit weird when I'm not in my own kitchen, so I just threw this together. Mr. Watts for Tea just had some soup and a couple of rolls, but this is what I had here. Like I said, completely different to anything I would normally have, but it's just so easy to throw together. So that was Tuesday. And then moving on to Wednesday, I made a quiche. I haven't made a quiche for ages, so this is just a cheese and bacon quiche, so a lovely big slice of quiche there. I don't like quiche because I don't like scrambled egg, and this just reminds me of scrambled egg, you know, just the way it looks and everything. So I always pass on quiche when quiche is on the menu. So that's some butterhead salad leaves, just with a wee bit of olive oil and salt and pepper. Like I said, a lovely big slice of that quiche if you're a fan of quiche, and it is just short crust pastry and what I'm going to call scrambled egg and bacon and cheese, and then just baked in the oven. I do have a video recipe for quiche I will leave down below just in case you want to go and make it for yourself, and some homemade chips as well, just for a wee change from our usual frozen chips because I didn't have any and they're nicer. And then moving on to Thursday, we had sausages. So I hadn't managed to get to the butcher yet, but I did have a pack of these chicken sausages. And do you know what? Although they didn't have a great deal of flavour, the texture of these was lovely. I made these for Mr. Watts for Tea's youngest daughter, who does like bangers and mash, but she doesn't like pork or beef sausages. You know, she doesn't eat too much meat. So these always go down really well with her. She prefers the chicken sausages, and of course the creamy mash and baked beans on the side, because baked beans and mashed potato, as I say all the time, are just a match made in heaven. Really tasty. And moving on to Friday, we had ravioli. I had a pack of fresh ravioli in the freezer that I needed to use up, And one of you had mentioned on my Tesco shopping haul the other day, it's quite a small shop. Are you planning on going away anywhere? And the short answer is no, not anytime soon. It's just because I've got so much stuff there I need to try and use up. And this is one of those things. So it's a tomato and ricotta ravioli and a herb and tomato sauce with grated cheese and a wee bit of black pepper and parsley on the top. And like I said, just lovely for a wee change. Sometimes you can find some hidden gems in your freezer that you completely forget about. So it's a nice wee surprise sometimes. And then moving on to yesterday, I made a chicken curry. I seem to do one of these every week. I think last week we had a beef curry. The week before that was a chicken curry, but they're always slightly different. So this is a sort of Chinese takeaway inspired chicken curry. And again, I do have a video recipe for this I will leave down below. And some of my homemade steamed basmati rice. Again, I do have a video where I show you how I do my at-home basmati rice, and it is lovely and works out perfect every time. Absolutely foolproof. Topped with that lovely chicken curry, and it's a wee bit paler than normal simply because I haven't added quite as much cayenne pepper as I normally do, because I always make them ultra spicy and I don't realise how hot they are. Last time I done one I was told that is far too hot, and to me it was fine, so I'm trying to make them a wee bit less spicy. And then moving on to today, we had salmon fish cakes, not a Sunday roast in sight. And that's something else I get asked quite a lot. Do you not do a roast on a Sunday? We're just not that kind of household. Sometimes we'll have one, but it's not something I go out of my way every week, to do. We're just not traditional that way. But from time to time, yeah, if we feel like it, we will have roast beef or roast chicken, something like that. But today it was the salmon fish cake. So it's salmon and lemon and herb fish cakes. Again, these were in the freezer, so fantastic. Something else I've managed to use up. And then just some pappardelle with lemon and herb dressing, and then some garden peas on the side. And I was going to put mint into the peas, but then I discovered you don't have any mint, so it was just plain peas, and then just a wee twist of lemon on the top with some fresh black pepper as well. And you know what? It's always something a wee bit different, but again, just really tasty, really easy to put together. And I was really chuffed this week at the things that I've managed to use up. So thank you so much if you're still watching, and a huge thank you to the supporters of the channel over on my Patreon page, to the channel members here on YouTube as well. And I have updated those wee lists, so your names should be there by now if you've came on board in the last few weeks. And thank you to you all for watching, leaving your lovely comments, and for those that share the videos, those that bought me a coffee using the Buy Me a Coffee link, which is always down below, and for those that have also left me a super thanks donation for the channel. Everything is very much appreciated, so thank you once again, and I will catch up with you during the week for another wee video or 3 back here on What's for Tea. So take care and bye for now. Bye now.